Hi everyone! Welcome to another pick a card video on my channel. My name is Julie Ann Fay and I'm a certified angel card reader and a professional astrologer. On this channel, I do pick a card readings, particularly around the lunar cycles, because I do love following the new and full moons, and I have my email newsletters that go out at the new and full moons, so I always like to pair my pick a card videos around those times. So if you're new to this channel, welcome, welcome. And I want to go over a couple announcements before I get into things a little deeper with the pick a cards. So number one, I wanted to, well, first let's actually tune in with the singing bowl. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. It's so funny. I washed and blow dried my hair before starting this video, and then I spilled some patchouli essential oil. So I was like, well, I have no choice now but to put it in my hair, and I anointed some of my crystals with it. But I feel like I've gotten like a little wild womanish because I've got so much patchouli going on. So if you see me like fussing, it's because I'm like, whoa, trying to tame the wild woman there. Although we shouldn't really tame our wild woman nature. We're already way too tamed in society. So I'm just gonna have us start by tuning in with just some singing bowl lovin'. I'm new to working with singing bowls. Love them so much. This is a new bowl that I invested in, and I'm still getting used to practicing and making it sing, but I am so loving it. Even just a couple seconds of singing bowl is just really calming and relaxing and helps a lot. So yes, sorry, I'm like so scattered in this video for some reason. I also was super debating doing a Facebook Live. It's been forever since I've done a Facebook Live, and I really want to get back into doing them, and that is on my agenda. But I also love doing YouTube videos so that I can reach more people and share my videos with people that way. So yeah, so many needs to spread the love in these days. But shout out number one. So I wanted to do a shout out that I am selling some spiritual tools from my personal collection. I actually will be selling this deck, which I will be actually working with in this pick a card. This is the Akashic Tarot by Sharon Ann Klingler and Sandra Ann Taylor. And this is a really beautiful deck. This is great for beginner tarot enthusiasts and just in general if you love oracle cards and you don't want to go with the straight up, you know, regular tarot, you want to do something a little bit different. This incorporates a lot around the Akashic records, so this deck would be really great for someone who does Akashic record readings or is just in general interested in more work with that. I am selling this deck. I'm also selling a Sage Goddess Perfume Soul Star, which is of course the chakra that is I get Soul Star and Earth Star chakra confused, but there's basically two chakras, one that's above our crown chakra, which I believe is our soul star, and then we also have one below our root chakra, which is, I believe, the Earth Star chakra. So I'm selling that. I also have some other crystal babies that I'm selling. They're currently outside. They're soaking up as much of the natural elements as they can before they go to their new homes. So I am also selling some crystals there. I'm selling a smoky quartz, an apophyllite, a black tourmaline generator, a Nagumi jasper, palm stone, and a chlorite quartz. So if you're interested in any of those, head over to my Facebook, or any of these, head over to my Facebook business page where I have the listings there, and you can just email me or you can DM me on Facebook or on Instagram. Just as a heads up, I do get lots and lots of notifications on Facebook, so email or Insta DMs are probably a better way to catch me. The best way is definitely email because I check that every pretty much 6 out of 7 days a week. But yeah, and I'd love to also coordinate kind of a package deal if you're interested in more than one thing. So hit me up if you're interested in some of that. Those of you that are on my email newsletter list, which I highly recommend that you do so because that's where I put all of the juicy updates on my blog and my any specials I have going on, updates going on in my business. Tons of stuff goes into those email newsletters, and they go out twice a month around the new and full moons. I will actually have in the email newsletter direct links to the Facebook posts with the name of what each thing is. So you can click right on it. If you're not subscribed to my email newsletter and you want to be, you can go to julieannfaye.com and you can sign up on the homepage at the top of the page, or there's a pop-up that comes up and you can type in your name and email. And if you get an email from me, it is me. I don't automate those. I like to send an intro email, and I oftentimes like to, unless I'm really busy, sometimes I can't get to it, but I like to then link you up to the previous email newsletter issue that went out. So a lot of times when I send those emails, I don't get a response, and I think it's because people think it's automated, but I'm like, no, it's really me that's doing it. Likewise with the Amazon recommendations, I actually go in whenever I do a blog post and I really like pick the things that I want to recommend in those, my Amazon recommendations at the bottom of the post. So that is also me as well. What else do I want to say? I also wanted to do a shout out as well to my Instagram and my Facebook, which are both at Julie Ann Faye Healing, because I will be doing something very special starting with Scorpio season. So October 22nd, I will be starting something really special, and I'll have this on my Instagram and Facebook, and it's going to be running for about 10 days. So I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I would recommend that you follow me there on Instagram or Facebook. Make sure you're following me, and that you are, especially on Facebook, it's kind of weird because you can like a page but not be following it. So make sure you're liking and following me on that page, because that will make sure that you get updates, especially if I do go live moving into kind of the second half of the month. So, and yeah, just make sure you're on the email newsletter list, because that is the best way to keep informed about what's current and what's changing and what's growing with my business. So let's get into this pick a card. The decks that I'm using are, so funny because I've used this deck so much the titles wore away, but we have Angel Answers by DV and Radley Valentine. We have Life Purpose Oracle by DV. We have the Akashic Tarot by Sandra Ann Taylor. We have the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake. This is a new tarot deck that I've got recently and really loving it. I bought it actually in its mini form, and I just got the bigger form. So I'm really excited to start working with that with my clients and for all of you guys. And then I do have a bonus deck here, which is super fun little spell cards. And this is by the same people that make the Biddy Tarot deck. So I will pull from that as I feel called. And to save time, I've actually gone ahead and pre-set the 3 different piles. I don't know what's in these piles, so I get to be excited and learn at the same time you guys do, and be surprised just like you guys. So I'm going to show those piles in a second. Oh, I remember there was something else. I also wanted to do a little bit of a plug / teachable moment about, I mean, I always want to plug my blog posts because I'm writing all the time and they're a great resource to learn. So make sure that you are following, with my email newsletter. I'm also on Saged app, a spirituality app now, where a lot of my content is being featured as well. So make sure that you're staying up to date with what I'm writing, because I am offering a lot with that. But I also wanted to do a plug about my YouTube channel and just small content creators in general. So I don't think a lot of people are aware of how the algorithms work with YouTube and Facebook, especially with YouTube. And this does also happen with Facebook and also Instagram. But essentially what happens is that, so if we take YouTube, for example, right? YouTube will reward videos that get likes and comments, especially. It can also work with views, but in particular, it's likes and comments. YouTube really likes to see, okay, this video is getting likes and comments. I'm going to feed this to more people. That's how the algorithm works. So then they will take videos that already have a lot of likes and comments, and they will feed that to more and more people. And then they generate even more likes and comments, and it snowballs, right? So what ends up happening by that is that really, really big content creators, right? People that have like hundreds of thousands of followers, they end up having their videos pushed out much more easily for people to see. So it's kind of like this weird paradox of like, in some ways the rich get richer, you know? Of course, in spirituality and abundance, there's more than enough to go around. So it's not so much that aspect, although certainly there is that. But it's more so just understanding the way that these algorithms work. And I don't think that people understand that when you actually like a video, and in particular also comment on a video, preferably lovingly and not, you know, not in a mean way. In fact, it should definitely be lovingly and not a mean way. But when you comment on a video, you're actually really helping that person's channel to help their videos to be more seen and heard, especially small content creators. Because if you can imagine, YouTube is an extremely busy place, as is Facebook and Instagram. So people could have really amazing content, right? But it's just not being regularly seen because it's kind of, they're a small content creator, they're growing their channel, you know, and there could be people that are consuming their content, they're going on, they're watching the videos, but they're not liking the video or commenting on the video. They may have enjoyed it, they may have loved it so much, but without leaving a like or a comment or subscribing, it's actually not helping their channel to grow. So I really wanted to do a plug about this, and I will continue to plug about this. Hopefully I'll also get a chance to share about this on Facebook Live, because I don't think enough people are informed to understand how that works, and that you actually can really support small content creators. This isn't just about me. This is also other small content creators on YouTube, Facebook, and Insta, right? Help support them by liking their videos, commenting on their videos. So when you comment on my videos, you like them, when you subscribe to my channel, you share my videos with your friends, that actually helps my channel so much. It's helping spread the word about my business, and it's helping it so much. So I just wanted to explain that, because I think it's something that people don't really understand if they're not an entrepreneur and they're not as involved in, you know, more of the kind of social media world and the social media business and how it kind of works. But it is such that if you already have a large following, it's like actually easier for your videos to be more seen quicker and easier. People will be more magnetized to it. It'll show up more in feeds because the algorithm will feed, it will push out more of what's already getting more, right? So it's so important that if you do like someone's content, you like, you comment, you subscribe, you share it with people, because, you know, we want to also keep the ability to have our human, you know, love also help people as well, right? So I just wanted to share that, and I will continue to be an advocate for that, because it's really important for people to understand how these things work. And most people just aren't aware. You know, they go on their YouTube homepage and it's like, oh, here's a video of blah blah blah, and they'll watch that video, right? They'll comment on the video. They don't realize that, okay, well, that video has tons of, you know, attention already, and that there's other content creators that are thirsting also for that attention, and, you know, could benefit from your loving as well. So take the time. Maybe a good practice would be, if you do watch a really sizable content creator's video, maybe, you know, think of, oh, well, I haven't seen so-and-so's content in a while. Type their name or their channel into the search bar, which actually does also help channels, as when they're searched. Type their name into the search bar, watch one of their videos, comment on it, you know, give them some love in. So I wanted to share about that as well. All right. Because I do get emails, I will email people and they're like, I loved your pick a card. And I'm like, that's great, but I had no idea that you loved it. And there's just no way of me knowing that, you know, there's no way of me understanding that feedback unless I can actively see that you've commented or liked it or things like that. You know, in fact, I actually, really the comments is the best way, because I can interact with people in the comments, and it means so much to me to know that you are here. And if you don't, I have no way of knowing that you are here and stop by and enjoy the content, right? So, and if for any reason you feel uncomfortable to comment, which I know some people do, please still give the video a like, share it with select people that you feel would benefit from it, and feel free to email me, let me know how it was for you. That's always a way you can reach out. I love hearing from people. The more that we can support small content creators, you know, the more that we can help people that also have really important things to say and content to share, but maybe just aren't being seen as quickly and as readily and as immediately. All right, so let's get into it. So we have 3 different piles here. They're all gonna look the same from the outside, but they're going to have different energetic imprints and frequencies, okay? So this is pile number 1. Pile number 1 there. I will also hold them all up at the end. This is pile number 2. I'm looking, but I'm trying not to look. And this is pile number 3. All right, and then let's look at all of these together. So we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So this is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. This one wants to pop out. This is 1, 2, and 3. So this would be a good time to pause the video if you need to just take a couple extra seconds. For me, I'm always like laser drawn to a particular pile. For the most part, I would say like 90% of the time I'm pretty clear what pile is for me, but that's also because I'm very practiced with connecting and tuning into my intuition. So in fact, watching pick a cards and practicing with pick a cards is a great way for you to practice working with your own intuition. It's a really fun way to go about doing it. So I'm going to take a sip of tea and let's get into it. So pile number 1, peeps, this is the message for you. We have, let me actually lay these cards out a little bit first, just to get a lay of the land here. So right away from Angel Answers, we have no need to worry. Okay, beautiful card. No need to worry. And we have the Sun. So this is really saying that everything's okay. You know, things are actually better than you think. Things are a little bit brighter than you even understand or realize. You might be having a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, but you're actually kind of on the up and up. It might be too that you're having trouble seeing it. I think you guys are doing a little bit of like cleanup work, a little bit of visioning work here, the people that pick this pile, because you do have 4 of keys clearing the way. This again is from that Akashic Tarot deck, which I am selling. So you have 4 of keys clearing the way. And this card is all about, you can see that there's a log that's fallen there, right? And then the couple is there and they've got their horse and carriage, and they're trying to get towards this house that's at the end of this road, but they have this log to clear. So I think you guys are doing a little bit of maybe some karmic clearing or some clearing up of energy as you move towards this path of less worry and more happiness. There might be some karmic clearing you're doing. There also could be some visioning that you guys are doing. You have 2 of Wands here, right? So this is about looking forward to your future in a way where you ask yourself, this isn't quite as strong as the 3 of Wands, where it's like, okay, you've done even more planning and visioning and you're kind of waiting for things to fall into place. This is like the beginning of that journey of visioning, you know. Technically the Ace would be more of the beginning of that inspired spark. This is like a little bit of a step beyond that. But we could see here that she's got literally in this card, she's got the world in her hand, right? So she's really looking at like, okay, what can I conquer? What can I achieve? What can I do? And, you know, she has lots of companions around her. So she has these 2 cute cats here. There's a gecko that's here. In my Animal Tarot deck by Radley Valentine, the gecko also represents like self-assertiveness and sticking to it. So there's something here about, you know, you're understanding, okay, what are the commitments I want to make in my life moving forward? You're asking yourself the right questions about, what is it that I want to commit to moving forward? What is it that I want to grow in my life, shift, or change? You're asking yourself a lot of questions here and doing a lot of reflection about your future and how you want to grow in your future. We do have this study card here. Reading, research, and education help you gain confidence and clarity about your career. So I think that you are very much learning a lot right now, especially for the fact that you do have this kind of karmic, I'm getting a sense it is karmic kind of there, this karmic clearing card, this energy clearing card, and then this visioning card. It's like you're doing some kind of, you know, you're doing some kind of final karmic cleanup here to help you to move forward. And this might require you to learn some new things. This could be, I know for myself, I'm doing a ton of learning during this Mars retrograde because of certain things in my own astrology. Like seriously, lots of learning, you guys, in like multiple life areas. And I don't know if other people can resonate with that, but you know, Mars is retrograde, Mercury is retrograde. So we are, you know, we're turning inward in terms of our actions. We're also turning inward in terms of our thoughts. And we might be doing a lot of revisiting to determine what is it that I haven't quite mastered yet. We're also finishing up Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn the rest of this fall. Once we get into the end of December, we have Jupiter and Saturn both moving into Aquarius. It's a totally new energy, and we will really catalyze that more into January of 2021, the next year. But we are kind of in the home stretch here of what Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn have been wanting to teach us. Jupiter being in Capricorn all this year, and Saturn being in Capricorn all this year and the year before. And I'm forgetting a bit, but usually Saturn is, you know, for about 2.5 years. So we're probably looking at, yeah, all of this year, all of last year, and probably it was also into like the last couple months there of the year before that. So I don't have an ephemeris up, so I'm not giving you exact dates, so don't quote me on that. But you guys are doing lots of learning here, you know, so there's things that you're learning, and I think this karmic clearing that you're doing, you know, this visioning that you're doing, this learning that you're doing, all of this is actually helping you out to move towards happier times, because the other card you have here is freedom, you know, and it says you're free to do what you choose. I get the sense that you guys don't feel that way right now, because we do have the no need to worry card. So you are worrying and maybe having some anxiety about what's happening in your life and what's going down. I did actually, as I was cutting the deck for the Akashic Tarot, I did see the card Paths Unknown, which I felt was actually a message for all of us in this pick a card, which is just that there are a lot of unknowns right now. You know, we're in a very tumultuous year. We're in two major retrogrades. You know, I think that there's kind of like a palpable anxiety in the US here with the election coming up. And there's just a lot going on. You know, there's a lot of things that want answers, and we might be having this like anxious feeling of like, okay, I want answers to know what my path is. And I think you guys are, you know, understanding that you are moving towards more happiness, more success, more freedom, but there's just some work that you're doing in the here and the now, which is around planning and visioning, you know, around learning new things and around some karmic clearing. I'm also getting a strong hit for somebody that's listening to this. Could be more than one person, but it's especially for someone that there's something here around also understanding how to manage your finances and cleaning things up with money. So you might even be becoming a student to budgeting, you know, or just understanding how to work with money in a better way. And this also does involve you planning and looking ahead. Okay, I want to invest in this thing in the near future. What's it going to take to get there? Or, okay, maybe I have some debts that I need to clear away, you know, some karmic clearing there, because money is always a source of like, you know, that's like a super heavy kind of debt feel, right? So there might be some energy going on here around clearing those old debts. You know, this could also be clearing emotional debts. Clearing emotional debts maybe through a spiritual course or a reading or something that you experience is helping you transmute that like old stuck karmic energy, because you learn and you shift through the learning of it. And this then actually helps you to start readjusting yourself. It's almost like the angels are showing me kind of like the autofocus, you know, like having like my webcam here, having it focus. So you're getting things more in focus because you're clearing away what maybe was blocking the focus, and you're understanding how to work that camera now so that you can actually do that visioning work and bring in that more success and happiness that you desire. Let's do a bonus card here from my cute little spell cards here. Again, guys, I want to do a shout out. I did mention this. Too many cards. I did mention this at the beginning of the video, but do make sure you're following me on Facebook and Insta. Both of them are at Julianne Faye Healing, because I'll be doing something really fun and special from October 22nd on for about 10 days. And I think you'll really enjoy if you are following me there to check that out. So, and if you're not on social media, I know some people don't like to be on social media. I will potentially be looking at uploading those to a blog post. It won't be individual blog posts for each day. It'll be a continuous one. So for that, you know, you just want to be checking on my blog, which is juliannefaye.com/blog. And or if you're subscribed to my email newsletter, you'll also get that, but you'll probably get it at the end of that 10-day cycle. But either way, plenty of ways to stay informed there. All right, so focus card here. Final message for people that picked pile number 1. This one kind of wants to come out, but not really. Lately, I've been like really telling my angels, like, please, I mean one card. Sometimes I get more than one card, and I'm just like, really, guys? Like, I feel like it's coming close now. I'm going to cut the deck, and I'm just going to choose that way. All right, so we've got a moon spell. Whoa, moon spell. And it says, incantation for insight and inspiration. Perform this spell on a full moon night for full effect. So we just had a new moon, literally yesterday, a new moon in Libra, actually my natal moon sign. And the next full moon will actually be coming up on Samhain, the Halloween for Muggles, but Samhain in the Wheel of the Year and the pagan tradition, which is what I follow. And that will be a full moon in Taurus. That will also be a full moon in Taurus with Uranus in the mix. It's going to be cray. And it's also on Halloween night. Craziness. But it says, perform this spell on a full moon night for full effect. Place 1 blue and 1 white candle on your altar. Light your favorite incense, one that stimulates your thinking. Scratch your name into the blue candle. For the white candle, scratch the name of someone who inspires you. Light your name candle in the incense and recite, this candle burns for me. And then it says, light the candle of hope and say, here burns my hope for, and then that name. Sit with your eyes closed for a few minutes and picture yourself enacting your hope and desire. Let the candles burn completely for full charging. You guys, this spell card came up on the last pick a card I did. So if you were watching that last pick a card and you heard this spell card and you're hearing it again, do it, okay? That's all I have to say. If you don't want to take it to that level of more like, you know, kind of like fanciful ways of doing it, work with blue and white wearing in colors, with candles, with crystals, with oils, okay? But bringing the energy of blue and white into your life, that will bring more communication, more clarity. It also brings in more angel light. So that's what I have for you, pile 1. Please, please, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below. Let me know how that was for you. I love hearing from you guys. And share this video with your friends, and especially in Facebook groups, if you feel like there's a spiritual Facebook group you're in where this would benefit, that also helps my business a ton. Sending you love. All right, I'm taking a sip of tea. And let's get into it, pile number 2. All right, so if you picked pile number 2, let's see what we got. We have 4 of Forces, Spring, Autumn. That is not focusing very good there. We have You're on the Right Path. Always a blissful card to get. And we have Heart's Desires. I'm going to go over these in more detail. I'm just showing these to you guys first. We have 4 of Wands. We have Knight of Cups. And we have Remain Positive. Okay. So let me kind of intuitively rearrange these a little bit. Okay. Feeling a heavy energy with the people that pick this pile. I'm going to do another little, ooh, that was nice. So there was a little bit of some anxious vibes in pile 1. You know, so if you were kind of drawn to pile 1, tap into that. I'm feeling with this, with the people that pick this pile as well, there's a little bit of some anxious feels of like, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right things? Are things going to work out okay? And this pile, this spread you have here, guys, it's really confirmation that yes, things will be all right. You know, you do have Remain Positive, so there might be some negative thinking going on, or even just cynical thinking. You're like, oh, it's never going to get better. It's never going to happen to me. I'm never going to figure this out. stop that because it's not helping. You're on the right path. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working. And then you also have Knight of Cups here. So you're on the right path is saying like, yes, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. I do get the sense that things are maybe occurring more slowly than you would have liked. And that's also what's kind of feeding your sense of anxiety and worry is like, what is happening? Because I'm not getting the forward momentum like I kind of thought I would. And to be honest, we're all going through that. I know I myself am going through that with more than one life area. And, you know, we're finishing up this energy in Capricorn, Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn. Capricorn's very slow. It literally is father time and it's associated with winter. So think about how fast things grow in the winter. They don't, right? They don't really grow in the winter. So we're still in that energy and we will be in that energy for the rest of October, November, and into the first half of December. When we get to the second half of December and into January, the energy actually shifts into Aquarius. So people that might have been struggling with the energy in Capricorn, they get a breath of fresh air because the energy shifts into Aquarius. Those that have been kind of coasting in Capricorn will have some new changes on their plate with the energy coming into Aquarius. It's going to change up the game a lot, okay? So if you're someone who's been kind of struggling with a lot of this Capricorn energy, it's okay. Just keep going, keep walking in faith that things are going to get better, and just keep, you know, the way to work Capricorn energy is hard work. It's discipline. It's karma. It's just tough lessons, and it's not fun, you know, but doing that work is going to pay off because Saturn isn't a completely unreasonable and ruthless planet. He's just very, you know, authoritarian and discerning. So he basically says, if you put in the work, I'm going to give you the rewards. I'm going to give you the results. If you don't put in the work, you know, it's kind of how it works. And it's interesting too, because I'm like a really strong earth sign. I have literally a stellium in Virgo. So I have Sun in Virgo, Venus in Virgo, Mercury in Virgo, and Mars in Virgo. And I was really excited for Capricorn energy to come in because, of course, that's going to trine over to my Earth planets. All of that energy that was at the beginning of Virgo, I will say. But I underestimated thinking about my Libra energies. So I have a Libra moon and a Libra ascendant, and particularly that the third decan, or the last third of Libra. So they have been squaring over to this energy at the end of Capricorn, you know, this pileup of 3 planets in Capricorn. And man, oh man, it has not been fun. So this is also why it's so powerful to understand your astrology, because, you know, a lot of what's in the mainstream is a lot of memes about like, oh, this or that. It can be very oversimplified. So I love doing astrology sessions for people because we can go in real deep into your chart and talk about your strengths, your weaknesses based on your elemental makeup, and not only just who you are in your own chart, but then how is that alchemizing with the changing energies of the transits, right, which are always moving and shifting. The planets are constantly moving. So really, really powerful stuff. Right? To witness yourself and understand yourself can help us with managing those feelings. Because you have Knight of Cups here, and you do also have Heart's Desires here, but I was feeling called to put Heart's Desires with this other card. Because you have Knight of Cups here, I have been getting this card a ton. And this could be, you know, this has, one meaning of this card is around romance and enthusiasm and idealistic thinking. The caution with this card is to be not like so overly idealistic that you kind of lose track of reality. You could see the way that the artist depicted it in this card. There's actually a shark under the water, and the guy is like flying along there with like hearts coming out of his cup, and he's on his broom and he's blissfully like in his, you know, in his way, and not really understanding like, oh, there's kind of shark infested water underneath. So it can be a little bit of like an aloof energy, or a little bit of like, you're so enthusiastic and you're kind of checked out from like reality. But this also is a beautiful card as well, because it's about understanding like the magic of life and the romance of life, and that we do also have to be in that energy as well. We have to be inspired. We have to feel really good about things. You know, like this card is how I feel when I find the perfect gift to go with my blog posts, or like when I just love on the creations I make on in my email newsletters and with my blog and things like that. So we need that energy, that beautiful kind of blissful magic, you know. What I'm getting though in terms of the way that this could be like the shadow side of this card, is just that I think part of what might be, angels help me communicate this. Part of what might be a little bit frustrating for you guys is that you might have like an unrealistic sense of time. So you might feel like, what the heck? Like, I'm working on my craft, I'm doing the things that bring me joy, but you don't get the results that you would like as quickly as you would like. So I think part of this is like a little bit of maybe a naive energy about maybe the amount of time something might take, or the input of time something might take. So I think that part of this is like to understand, to remain positive, that just because you don't see like instantaneous results doesn't mean that like all is lost, and that like your enthusiasm for the cause is unjust. I feel like your enthusiasm is actually right on, the people that pick this pile, but you might have to do a little bit of like calibrating and adjusting to maybe letting go of like expectations around the timeline or the time it might take. This could also be too about, you know, I feel like people that pick this pile here, there's so many different people that are trying to manifest different things with this pile. Some of you it's love, some of you it's housing, some of you it's financial security or career. For some of you it's all of those things, right? But there might need to be a little bit of an adjustment of like, you know, and a good way to play around with that is to kind of like, and this is going to sound weird, but to try to like temporarily entertain the worst case scenario of that timeline. So let's say that you've been getting lots and lots of guidance. Oh yeah, I'm definitely manifesting this by the end of the year. You might be like very, very hung up, and you might even create this like illusion in your mind of like, yes, it's definitely going to happen by this date or by this time. And it may be such that that day will come and go and it won't be manifested, right? And then you'll have like this real sense of sorrow about it not manifesting by that time. So what you can do is practice, yes, I do see that. I do see it manifesting by this date, by this time. And then also allow yourself to practice detaching from that timeline and saying, okay, well, you know, there's a possibility that it might not manifest, then it could be a month later than that, or 2 months later, or 3 months later. How does that feel? Well, it doesn't feel good, but you know, if that was to happen, I could deal, I could adjust. So that's a little bit of how you could work this energy, right? Is to, yes, have that magic, have that belief, have that hope and that faith that those miracles, those dreams are coming in. Also, practice every so often just adjusting yourself with a little bit of a dose of Virgo in myself, Virgo and practicality, and say, okay, well, realistically, you know, does that seem like I could achieve that by then? Only though if you feel like you're kind of getting away with yourself with it, right? You have to, again, this is all about balance and fine tuning, and especially with this new moon in Libra, which we've just had, so we're now in that lunar cycle for the next 2 weeks. This is going to be about a lot about balance. So balance is not something that it's like, oh, we set it and we forget it. We have to constantly keep working at balance and tuning that frequency to achieve balance. So you're going to have to keep working at like managing your expectations and trying to just be, when you find yourself getting like so frustrated or upset that like it's not occurring in the timeline you would like, to really adjust that and say, okay, well, maybe I'm not being realistic about this, and how could I fix that? You know, that's a long tangent I just went on. You guys have 4 forces here, spring, autumn. So whichever one of these you're most drawn to can be an indicator of when things are manifesting. For me, I was actually really drawn to the spring at first, and then I was drawn to the autumn. So, and another way to read this card is if it's, depending which way it's read, you know, whatever's at the top. So I think for some answers to your questions, it's a spring answer, and for some answers, it's an autumn answer. We're here, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere. We're in fall for sure, right? So there might be certain things that you thought would be manifested by fall, and maybe they're not here yet. I think that maybe they're taking a bit longer to ripen. They'll ripen by springtime. I also do get the sense that there is a lot that's cooking and brewing in fall. So to not neglect the fact that there are manifestations that are coming through in the fall, they just might be different ones than you expected. Again, this is like letting go of your attachment to timelines and the outcome, you know, and you do again have that card, you're on the right path. So just affirming like it's going to be okay. Even if it looks or feels different than you thought it would by now, it's going to be okay. And we do have here heart's desires and then 4 of wands. So you guys want to feel more secure. You want to feel more happy you know, perhaps with a revised kind of version of your home life, or possibly manifesting a new home, or just this overall sense of like emotional security and more stability. That is your heart's desire. You want to feel this, you know. And I do feel strongly that this is something you're working towards with springtime. I think you're planting a lot of seeds and you're doing a lot of work in the fall, which is then going to pay off with the springtime. And I'm hearing Aries. So, you know, Aries season might be a really important time for you guys, where you're actually like now starting to, I'm feeling it energetically. Angels, help me communicate what this is. That you're going to actually be able to like taste and eat the fruits of your labors, you know. And this is interesting too, because if we think about Aries being like the opposite or the flip side of what you're doing now, well, Mars is retrograde in Aries right now, and it will be until January of 2021, right? Or rather, let me scratch that. Mars is retrograde in Aries now. It will be going direct in November, but then Mars won't actually leave Aries until January of 2021. Then it'll move into Taurus. So it's almost like a lot of the work you're doing this fall is actually really, really supporting you to make those changes in Aries season. You just can't see it yet because Mars is in retro. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like confused. Okay, let's pull a spell card here for my pile 2 peeps to get some final clarification here. Pile 2 peeps. What do pile 2 peeps need to understand? Again, I want to do a shout out. Please make sure you're following me on my Facebook and my Insta, which are at Julianne Faye Healing, because I will be doing something special starting soon now, like in under a week. And I think you guys, if you do enjoy readings, you'll enjoy that. So make sure you're following me there. And let's see what we got for pile 2. Focus message for pile 2. Focus message for pile 2 to conclude this reading. I feel like these cards don't like to come out on their own, so I'm going to intuitively pick one here. Because I've been noticing this as I work with them, that that's not how they roll. One more time. One more time. Okay, I lied. I'm going to do 2 more times. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. Cutting the deck. We've got a love spell. And it says Sylvan Spell. This is a lovely spell if you are given a small tree as a gift to wish for strength and good health for you and your love. Before you plant the sapling, tie a bow and some colored ribbon and plant the bow with a small heart symbol in the soil under the roots of the tree. After you have planted the tree, water it well. Make a wish that both you and your love will grow strong and enduring as the tree takes root and begins to flourish. When the tree bears its first leaf, press it in a book associated with the one you love. As long as you tend your tree with love, you will both enjoy blooming health and vitality. How amazing is that? I love that intention so much. So working with the element of earth and in a sense also air, because the books to me feel very air element, but working with earth and air to really harmonize the manifestation of love in your life. And to me, this also really resonates with what this reading was about, which is that you're kind of planting a stable foundation right now to help with the manifestations that are going to bloom and blossom in the springtime. So, you know, working with like simple rituals that you can this fall and the here and the now, self-love rituals and writing out, scripting what it is that you want to manifest. This is really powerful right now, guys. So make sure that you're taking time to do that. So I'm sending you so much love, pile 2. If you enjoyed this reading, I would so very much if you can give it a like. Please comment below. Let me know how this reading was for you. I reference my tangent at the beginning of this video where I talked about supporting small content creators. Liking videos, commenting on videos is the best way to support small content creators that need more love and attention for their channels, that are often unseen because they get completely dwarfed by or masked or whatever you would say, by like huge content creators. So please make sure that you're giving videos a like and commenting on videos that do help you out, because it really, really helps out their channel. Also, you're welcome to share this video with friends or share it in Facebook groups. That also helps me a ton as well. So much love, pile 2. All right, pile 3 peeps, let's get into it. So if you picked pile 3, these are the cards for you. We've got, I'm actually going to lay them out first. before I say what they are. So I'm going to hold you in suspense for a few minutes because I like to intuitively rearrange them sometimes. Okay, good. All right, so if you picked pile 3, you guys are doing some work here there's a little bit of like emotional healing work going on with the people that picked this pile, and really tapping into a lot of self-love and self-care. There's many things going on here though, but we have Queen of Cups here. Beautiful card. Queen of Cups, and then we have trust. Trust your feelings and dreams to guide your career path. So I think that right now, and then we have a couple more here that I'm going to talk about shortly. I think that right now you guys might be feeling like certain answers or like precision or clarity in your life is a little bit unavailable to you. And what you're actually being kind of called to do is actually work with your feelings and your emotional intelligence, and trusting within your emotional intelligence what guidance is there. And I think this might be very weird for you guys, very awkward or uncomfortable, because it's like, oh, like, you know, trusting my feelings. I don't want to do that. You know, I want just like clarity. But I think that this is actually something important that you're learning right now. And a consistent theme throughout this entire pick a card was about patience and persistence, especially with all this retro energy with Mars and Mercury in retro, and this energy that's finishing up in Capricorn for the rest of 2020. So I think for you, part of your lessons right now are about understanding how to trust yourself and your feelings that come through, how to actually really nurture yourself and nourish yourself with a lot of self-love, and just understanding like, okay, I do have these feelings, I do have these emotions, but I'm not going to judge or fault myself that I feel this way or that I am a sensitive person that I am. I'm actually going to love myself through that. So this can also be, you know, when I think about self-worth, it's more like Queen of Pentacles, but I think for you guys, there's also an energy here about self-worth, like understanding that, yeah, it's safe. I'm safe for me to trust myself. This is kind of like you're learning how to trust yourself again. You're learning how to trust the decisions you make, the emotion that comes through, and that may offer something that's of value for you to trust. You know, those feelings when you talk to that person and you feel like, instead of just ignoring those feelings, you actually now listen to those feelings and say, you know what, I'm going to put up a boundary there because it just doesn't feel good, you know? So you're understanding how to trust your feelings again in many ways. And you do have Knight of Swords here and recovery. So for people that pick this pile, you might be recovering from someone who maybe made you question yourself a lot, or this could be, you know, an air sign. This is a male energy card, or just someone with strong male energy. So kind of like that combination of male and air energy. So the air signs would be Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. So you might have been wounded by someone, you know, a male of air energy that really made you go into your head a lot. They might have played some games. There might have been some kind of like brainwashing or even just manipulation. You know, there's something here that went down that made you question yourself a lot. And you might have been actually someone who was naturally in tune with your emotions, or very in tune with what your heart and your mind had to say. But because you went through this experience, it like actually rattled you, and it prevented you from being able to like trust yourself, because every time you were like, oh yeah, it's this person convinced you, no, it's not, it's this. And that's because they were kind of like pulling the strings, and it was an imbalance of power, right? So there was like a power dynamic going on there. So you are in this recovery period where you're really kind of understanding what that was. You're understanding it more clearly. And I think that part of why you're understanding it more clearly is because you actually understand now I do think that there's some type of awakening that's come in through, though, before you guys have kind of gotten to this point of integrating more of this emotional energy. You might have had potentially reading with someone who kind of jolted this into your awareness, or, you know, I know there's certain things in this I'm definitely resonating with and thinking about what's jolted me with this. But I think something's come into your awareness, whether it was a healer, a reading, maybe you had a session with me, a soul coaching session with me, but there's something that came into your awareness, a spiritual course, something that's actually like connected you back to those feelings. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember how that felt. And that actually didn't feel good. That wasn't me in my worth. That wasn't me trusting my feelings, or understanding that I was connected to my emotional self. But I think you're looking at it now from a perspective of self-love, whereas before you might have used your emotions to like attack or harm yourself, of like, what's wrong with me or something. I think now you're actually saying, you know what, I understand, because I've connected my mind to my heart and I get it now. I understand when I feel this way, when I talk to this person, it's a sign for me to put up a little stop sign and to witness that there's something there and to trust myself that there's something there, right? So I think you guys have actually learned a lot, but you're kind of coming around full circle to this, you know, and this might have been like a very, very complicated puzzle for you to navigate here with these two cards. But I think that you are mastering it, you're achieving it, because you have 3 of keys. The more I work with these cards, I'm like, should I be selling these cards? I'm starting to vibe on them more, but we have 3 of keys, the chess game, and then we have success. So to me, and it's interesting too, because there's like that chess piece that's fallen down, right? I can't quite see what kind of chess piece it is. It looks actually like a goddess, which is kind of interesting. So I think that, you know, it's sort of like, yes, you were involved in these power struggles or these dynamics, which were kind of like a battle of will in certain ways, or like a battle of your mind, I think. And I do think that it kind of knocked you off of your personal power, your divine feminine power. But I think that you're kind of coming around for full circle within this energy, and you're actually seeing the situation more clearly, and your angels want you to know, yes, like, this is actually a major success that you're understanding this now very clearly, and that like you've put this kind of puzzle together, you know, because I don't know if it's something that you are fully accessing or understanding at the depth that you are now. I think that this maybe wasn't as available to you before, but now it's like you really get it. And I think that the message I'm also getting is just too, it's like, not only do you get what happened, but you're also now more aware of what the patterns are and what they look like, so that you can manifest more balance in relationships and situations in the future. You understand now more about what it feels like to be in a balanced dynamic with someone, and what balance looks and feels like, so that you can feel safer. You know, it's like you've kind of learned that lesson, so now you can feel safer to trust yourself to say no to situations or people that don't feel good, because you have that strong contrast, having gone through that experience of like, whoa, I did experience this where it was unhealthy, it was toxic, it was abusive, it was unbalanced. I know what that feels like so very strongly that I won't go back there, because those feelings have taught me something. But the ticket is that, the key is that you want to make sure that even though you've come out the other side of what that game was with that person, it's important for you to not forget kind of the rules of the game, right? And to understand that there may be scenarios or situations that could come up in which this imbalance tries to present itself again, and it's going to be up to you if you choose to feed into it again and get involved in it again. So you're going to have to understand, like, okay, yeah, these are the rules of the game, and I don't want to play that game. I don't want to play these games anymore, you know? And part of, I think, what's going to help you to not get involved in playing those games is understanding that you're very intuitive, and you do have this innate awareness and this sense about people, and you have to trust that. You have to trust when you notice that the dynamic is starting to shift and become more unbalanced or more healthy, and trust that it's okay and it's safe for you to kind of make an exit at that time if you sense or feel that it's unhealthy. And I think that this is not easy stuff, right? But with Mercury transiting in Scorpio right now, and the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, this is a perfect time for us to be accessing these kind of deeper lessons and to be understanding the shadow work. It's really perfect for that. I'd also recommend that, I want to recommend this course I'm in, but it's pretty much well on its way, and we have such a wide variety of people that watch this video. But you know, if this pile really resonated with you, and you know, you do want to hear more about things, feel free to email me, because I am someone who can speak a lot about this type of energy, and there's a lot more I could say about this, but I want to spare the people that like you know, resonated with maybe part of this reading and are relating to it in a totally different way. But this is very powerful stuff when you figure out how to master this, you know. And so what I'm trying to say is, if this piqued your interest at more of a surface level, especially with the Mercury and Scorpio piece, I'd recommend you go to my blog and read the 2 blog posts I wrote on Mercury and Scorpio. So one of them is Merc and Mars retro, Out of Sorts, where I talk about both the Mercury and Mars retrogrades that are occurring right now. Another one is Mercury enters Scorpio, Truths Unveiled. That one's going to be a bit further down on the blog, but that's another great one where I talk about how to harness the energy of Mercury and Scorpio and what we can expect with this, you know, retrograde and all of that. If you're someone that was really resonating with this pile at a deeper level and you want to do more work with that, more spiritual work with that, please email me. Maybe you might want to explore doing a soul coaching session with me or a private reading with me to go deeper into it. And or I can just provide some, you know, to the extent that my schedule allows or I'm able, maybe I can, you know, send a recommendation your way. But either way, I'm sending you guys so much love and light that picked this pile. Please, please leave a comment below. Let me know how this was for you. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Please also share this video with your friends. You're welcome to also share it in relevant Facebook groups, spiritual Facebook groups that you think would benefit from it. And yeah, that's what I've got for you guys. I'm sending you so much love. Also, if you're interested in the stuff that the spiritual tools, it's not stuff, it's spiritual tools that I am selling, hit me up. You can email me or DM me, and make sure you subscribe to my email newsletter because that's where all of the latest updates go out, and it's the best way to stay informed on what's happening with my business. Much love. Peace.